Hello everybody, good afternoon. Welcome to the stream. It's me, DIGI, and we are back in FS 2020. We're going to try this again. We're going to try to fly the 787 and we're going to try flying overseas. So, we are in the process of getting ourselves set for a flight this afternoon, and we're going to 4X this thing all the way over to Narita in Japan. You better believe I'm kind of stoked to do this because I've never actually tried. The last time I tried 4Xing a flight overseas on stream was a while ago. I think that was when I tried flying the A310 from St. John's to I think Heathrow. Yeah, so I think that's the last time it happened. I am looking forward to the experience and sharing time with anybody that shows up. And I think during cruise, we're probably going to play a few games and maybe look some stuff up, get up to speed on some Japanese food culture because you know I like my eating, and we will see what we see. Now, going into this, if we have a crash to desktop, one of two things. I'm either going to do a regional op in Japan, probably from like Fukuoka or Hiroshima to either like Osaka or Shizuoka or Tokyo Haneda, or we'll switch to trucking instead. But I'm not worried about that right now. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy myself. Let me get the nav and logo lights set and we will take this one step at a time, shall we? We've already got the IRS's aligning, excuse me, and we've got front door power on, emergency lights are now armed, window heats are on, and we've got the electrics set to auto. The nav and logo lights are on, and I'm going to double check myself in a bit. We'll turn the packs on, and we shouldn't have to turn the packs off until we actually get ready to shut down at Narita, which is actually kind of cool. Now, let's get set for our departure. And let me see, what else do I need to do? Probably get the flight plan punched in. So, the built-in systems on this plane are probably helping me take care of the door opening and closing ceremonies, so I'm happy about that. Let's go into the computer system and actually let me fetch the flight plan for today. Pausing it, we're going to be taking off from Vancouver. I have Project YVR, which is an old scenery add-on, which I appreciate. And I'm going to depart here. Here is Vancouver, Charlie Yankee Victor Romeo, and we're flying to Romeo Juliet Alpha Alpha. So let's punch that in. And I should be able to request the flight plan, and it should start loading. Shouldn't take too long, and I'm going to spend probably about a half an hour on the ground here before we actually get going. What runway are we departing out of? I do not know. Let me import the charts. I've got my separate screen for minding chat, so I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between what we have. I do know we're going to be flying on PA COTS route Charlie to Japan. We're going to see a lot of ocean and then the outlying islands on the, I think, what is that? Well, on the Alaskan atoll, and then we're going to see a lot more ocean until we get close to Japan. So let me go ahead and start grabbing some information. What information do we want? We're going to be departing 26 left. That's it, 26 left. Let's load. And execute. 26 left is the choice. And now, before I continue, I'm going to just make sure that we have our lighting set because we're going to 4X this thing and probably see some darkness. I've never flown westbound long haul, so I kind of don't know what I'm getting myself into, which is kind of fun. Not gonna lie. Okay, There we go. That's it. Let's see. Floodlighting is off for now. Let's do 2257 for the transponder. And nav, I don't know if we're actually going to be doing an ILS approach. Let's find out right now. We have runway 16 right. So let's see what happens when we choose approaches. 16 right, we have an ILS Zulu, Yankee, and VOR DME. So uh, let's go with Zulu. ILS Zulu, 16 right. And that hooks right up to the arrival, which is the, I don't know how to pronounce this. It's either Supak or Supo. I'm going to say Supo Kilo November arrival. And the ILS frequency is what? ILS frequency is going to be 111.5 at 157. At 197. Excuse me, 157. And turn that on just so it's available. Okay, so the ILS frequency is set. We have the transponder. We're going to go to transponder mode, or basically mode Charlie. And now I think we should be okay. Let's confirm. Is there anything that I'm missing that I haven't accounted for? No, I think we should be okay. We've got the upstairs on as well as the downstairs. What I do need to double check is just make sure that my numbers are good. So let me double check. What is it? What is it I'm checking? Oh, hold on. Let's go here. Performance, not a bad idea. Let's get the FMC data, and now we have 26 left. Conditions are dry. And what are the winds right now? Let's go to airports weather. We have weather. Winds are 310 at 7. Temperature is 19. And the QNH is going to be 3000. Takeoff weight, which we have predicted, is 476382. And the zero fuel weight that we have for today's flight is going to be 357124. Okay, thrust rating, we're going to choose optimum. And flap config, we'll probably use flap 5 because these runways are long. NEI's config will be, I think, engine auto. And that should do it. We're calculating our numbers. So right now we have a cell temp of 43 and 157, 161, and 168. So let's go to Perfinit. And what did we say for fuel? Fuel was 120358. So we're pretty close to what we need for fuel. We just need more, a lot more. So let's override that because I'm pretty sure you can use the normal weight and balance here. And we're going to use the numbers that they gave us. So as close to 120358 as possible. There we go. That's actually pretty close. I will take that. And zero fuel weight we said was going to be 357124. So 357.1. And reserves, final reserve for today is going to be 4.5. Cost index for the flight is going to be 15. And that pretty much takes care of that. Cell temp we said was 43. And that means 90.5 is the takeoff. We could probably derate the takeoff to 87.3 with a derated climb. And I don't think we're in any rush to get to cruise. And there we go. We're going to take flaps 5. And CG is going to be 575. So let's go ahead and adjust that. There we go. 575 CG is set, and 156, 161, and 167 with an estimated takeoff weight of, what did we say? 476382. 476. So 476.4. And then we have 156, 160, and 167, which I believe is what we needed. Okay, pretty close, pretty close. I'm going to over-index and say 168 is actually going to be the V2 speed. 168, there we go. All right, so auto throttle's armed, and let's double check what the flight plan is supposed to be, because we need to finish the flight plan. All right, departing 26 left out of Vancouver. What flight are we taking? Excuse me, what departure are we taking? Actually, we're going direct, which is interesting. So, excuse me while I get my situation sorted out. Let's add the Golf Romeo Golf 6 departure, which shouldn't be a stretch. Actually, hold on. Let me change that. I think I'm going to take the Vancouver 2. Vancouver 2 is probably the better option. Unless it isn't. Vancouver 2 takes 263 for 26 left. Do we see anything for this? Climb heading 263 or as assigned by ATC. So do we have an initial climb? I'm looking. Initial climb could be 2,100 feet. The transition is 18,000. Hey, 54 months in a row. Welcome back, my friend. Welcome, everybody, to Studio Canuck, one of my streaming friends and a longtime supporter of the DIGI Driver channel on Twitch. Hello, my friend. Hopefully, you got some good snacks and grub in the International Lounge at Vancouver. I am going to be flying to Narita today on stream. So, since I'm not streaming this real time and I'm not streaming this in 1x time, we're going to go 4x. So, hope you brought some snacks to keep you company or some snacks to keep you fed. I will hope to keep you company at least for a portion of the flight, and we'll probably do a few things once we get up to cruise. You're going to be here for a bit then. Nice. All right. So, we're taking the Vancouver to 26 left, and once we get up to cruise, there's going to be a bunch of things that I have to do. But hold on. Let me check the legs. Vectors, we do have the flight plan in, which is good. So since I'm not going to be flying with ATC, I'm just going to go ahead and override the vectors on departure, and that will take us straight to the departure flight. Hi, Mrs. DG. That would be cool. Okay, so I think we got up to the Supak waypoint, which is basically set up for the Supak November arrival. And that means I can go to index, I can choose the arrival into Narita, and we're going to choose it. I believe we're going to take 16 right, Zulu, ILS Zulu. So where is it? Where is it? Here we are. And then we're going to choose ILS Zulu 16 right. And I believe the transition is literally Norma. Yep. So we're going to pick Norma. It feeds directly into the approach. No vectors of any kind. I'm liking that. So now we can go back to the route page. We can go to legs and we can double check to make sure we are nice and tidy for our flight. So Supak on the arrival, and then Pixis. Where's Norma? Did I miss Norma? Nope. Nope, right there. So 6,000 and 4,000 seems to be the... No, 6,000 is the go around altitude. Okay, fine. Good. Now we've got the legs set. I just need to make sure the... Yeah, pre-flight's complete, so I can put 168 in the MCP. And for the record, I'm going to go ahead and set 4,000 as initial climb because that's the best guess I can make for the Vancouver 2. And with the flight set, I can flip up the flight directors, and it'll take me maybe a little bit longer to get off the ground, but we're going to start boarding. I should have started boarding like about 5 or 7 minutes ago, but that's okay. Are we still aligning? We might be done with the IRS alignment, but there's still a little bit to do, and that's okay. I don't. You know where? Check your night table. Do you see him? Oh, wait, right behind you. You're welcome. All right, so great. Let's go ahead and punch this in. We have our units set. We're going to go to hectopascals when we get to Japan. Uh, Arrival approach minimums 330 feet barrow. So let's go ahead and push those in now. 340? No, 330. Do not attach pushback. I do want a board crew. Wonderful. Okay, so barrow, there we go. And barrowman set. And let's double check our systems while we're waiting for everything to get set. Weather and traffic. We'll turn the TCAS, the TAR, when we're ready to go. Right now, I'm going to check systems real fast. Doors are being handled by cargo. Entry set. Air conditioning. Got to make sure the passengers are set. You know what the rule is whenever we do a DIGI flight. Say it with me, chat. A cold passenger is a compliant passenger. This is good. So we should be okay. We do have plenty of fuel in all sectors of the aircraft, so we should be able to do fuel pumps to on all over the place. And let's start making sure we're cleaned up here. So IRSs, I think, are aligned, and now we have passengers boarding. um, Canuck, be nice. Ah, um, no. Yeah, yeah. We don't need that, and we don't need to bondo the plane. Um, we're good. We're good. So, okay, we have passengers boarding. I'm not going to turn the APU on until we're done boarding and we're just waiting for the luggage to be placed on the plane. We have electric set to auto. And are we missing anything? Not yet. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Welcome aboard Air Canada Flight 197 with service to Narita. We have an accelerated schedule today. We do hope you enjoy yourselves and that you availed yourself of the International Lounge. Arrival into Narita is probably going to be sometime around, say, 7 to 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't mind the disparity. Y'all will be sleeping, and I'm going to 4x this flight anyway, so it's going to be a nice, accelerated, zippy flight overseas. Temperature up in Vancouver? Not so hot. So, hope you enjoyed some time out there, and hope you have a nice seat. We have plenty of seats available in business class. We'll be drawing a raffle to see who wins one or two of those seats themselves. So, sit back and relax. Our flight attendants will take care of your needs and enjoy your flight. So let's see. Air conditioning, PAX auto, trim air on, temperature set, pressurization is auto. So, ooh, thank you. What is this? Oh, nice. Oh, nice. What is this? Fantastic. Mrs. Digi just came through the cabin with Biscoff cookie butter and chocolate and rice cakes. So if the microphone goes mute, you'll know why. Oh, that's fantastic. Yummy. So, flight plan is set. Initial climb is set. What's the departure heading for today? Departure heading for today is going to be 263. 263. 263. Let's go. And 263 set. So 263 set. Altitude is 4,000. We have everything that we need. And AC is going to run nice and cold. Fuel, we have 120,800 pounds of fuel for the trip. We're running on external power until we actually get the APU turned on. Gears looking good, so the brakes. Flight controls we haven't tested yet because we don't need to. We're not pushing back yet. And let's see. What's it looking like outside? We do have some cargo that's going on. And I think we might actually be good for turning the APU on at this stage. We should be fine. Let me double check. What's the minimum fuel required for today's flight? I don't necessarily want to break immersion. But minimum fuel is going to be 119,258. So I have like about, you know, at least 500 pounds before we actually need to freak out about that. Let's double check taxi instructions. We're leaving 26 left, which means we're going to push back onto Juliet Bravo and then go down Juliet to Hotel, Hotel to Delta, Delta to Delta Niner. So literally Juliet Bravo to Juliet to Hotel, or Juliet Bravo Juliet to Lima, then Hotel, then Delta. And I'll try to keep that screen open. You guys don't see it right now. It's okay. Doesn't matter. Um, oh, by the way, in case anyone's actually curious, I looked up what a business class ticket would be for one person round trip to Tokyo and Narita for a week. It's like 85, 8,700 Canadian, which is about $6,400 US. 60, 63, $6,400, something like that. That's it's not cheap, but it's probably well worth it. So I do have my other chart, and again, now we should be able to get the APU started, especially if we're almost done boarding. So let's get going. Let me double check my levels, chat. I'll give you guys a little bit more noise. Okay, passengers are almost done boarding. That means we can get the APU started. APU starting up, and get the beacon light on, wing lights on for safety, and that should do it. So we're going to go doors to auto very soon. And while the APU is coming up, I'm going to set my range for my radar. 20 on the small little fish finder, and I'm going to say 80 for now on the big screen. So we have our legs, we have our route, we have our pre-flight set, and we should be okay. And I think the APU is running now, so we should be able to disconnect ground power. Looks like they've already disconnected it for me, which is wonderful. Are we done with the loadout? We are. They just finished us. Great. Let's go ahead and get ready for the departure. So, operate jetway. And let's go ahead and set our internal view, because you know me and my internal views, I like them. Let's see. Do I like this view or this view? I think I like this view because I was like looking over the wing, and this is an internal showcase view. It's not going to move. I'm not going to be able to move it anyway. We're good. Let's call up GSX and do a pushback tail to the right. All right. Stand by, chat, while we get ourselves pushed back. All right. Sneaking in some snacks while we get ready to go here. Let's go ahead and get ready to release a parking brake. So, tail right. All right, get the clock running, and we are going to be pushing back now. All right. The beauty of the 787, you can turn both engines on almost immediately. And about maybe 15% N2. 15% N2. And let's get engine number 1 going. TCAS to TARA, please. Thank you. Engines are definitely warming up. We got what looks like 2 good engine starts. That's great. Let's go flaps 5. I don't see the flaps showing up right now, but that's flaps up, flaps 1, flaps 5. Visual seen. There we go. Flaps coming down. Flaps are indeed down. Engines are online. This is good. Very good. Parking brakes set. And you have it. To be fair, and while they're doing that, let's go ahead and check our systems one more time. Now we can do a flight controls check. So here we go. Full left, full right, full forward, full back, full left deflection, full right deflection, full spoiler deploy, full spoiler retract, flaps 5. We are good. Fuel check back to ND. Run a checklist real fast. Checklist override. Before taxi anti-ice, recall. Recall checked. Auto brake RTO. And flight controls and ground equipment, we will double check. Equipment is clear. Where's our friend? Did they leave already? I think they did. See ya. All right. So they have the gear pin. We're good. Am I missing anything? Flight controls check. Ground equipment cleared. APU is now off. So, anti-ice auto, recall checked, auto brake RTO, flight controls check, ground equipment clear, APU is good. We can override that. Okay, flaps are set, so we're ready for the before takeoff checklist. And now we can get going. Parking brake release, APU cool down, auto brake RTO, doors to auto, and seatbelts are on. Let's give it the beans and start our taxi on over to 26 left. Welcome aboard, everybody. We're flying to Tokyo Narita, and we're going to 4X the flight, probably do a few things once we get up to cruise, hang out with all of you wonderful people. Hopefully you're having a very good Sunday afternoon or Monday morning if you are overseas, because it's like 6:39 a.m. in Tokyo as we speak. In the sim, I do think this is real time, so it would literally be 1:39 in Vancouver as we prepare to get out of here. I'm not going to 4X time until we actually get taken off and we actually are well en route to cruise and everything. And I mean, probably as far as I can tell right now, once we get up to cruise, I will probably either play some retro consoles or maybe mess around with the Amiga. I don't know. Probably not the Amiga because I think a lot of it requires a joystick, whereas with some of the other consoles I have, I can get away with using a keyboard, no problem. I think. But whatever the case, we're good. Let's get nose light going. Let's get taxi going. And let me double check my taxi route. Okay, so we're going to Juliet, and gonna steer around some ground traffic. I think I'm gonna go and take the long way around them because I don't want to. No, not good. Maybe a little off-roading. Everybody duck. Yep. All right, good. People are like, my immersion. It's okay. That is one thing that I have not mastered yet because I haven't actually made regional airports for MSFS. I plan on getting past that shortly, especially since Lafayette Regional is going to be my one and only, I think, regional release for FS 2020. There's some things that I want to do with regards to, making scenery, and I'm probably going to start focusing more on FS 2024 because now we're getting to a point where I feel like it's becoming more the norm, but I do, and this is just my personal opinion, I can always be wrong, I do feel like there's still a little bit of work required, at least unless there is no work required and I'm just being lazy and I haven't jumped on the bandwagon of buying a whole bunch of aircraft and scenery, because I do want to challenge myself to make more scenery, and the selection of planes that I have available, including the 777, which I've recently installed by BMDG, is fairly extensive. So we'll see. We will see, that's for sure. Currently on hotel, and we are going to turn left on the Delta. Once we get to Delta, I will probably turn on the rest of the lights and get the cabin crew ready for departure. Wave bye-bye to YVR. All right, so now we're turning left onto Delta, and literally we'll be here until we make a right turn at Delta Niner to get on 26 left for departure. Okay, so again, this is DIGI being lazy. This is not Air Canada spec. Wing lights probably won't need them at this point. Beacon nav logo, strobe, landing lights on, and that should do it. If if my airline friends were here, they'd probably be ribbing me a little bit on hitting the flight attendant button so much. But here we are, living the dream. Uh, Good afternoon to my friends and to my fellow lurkers. Thank you so much for tuning in for today's flight. We are 4Xing it to Narita. We're departing from Project YVR. Your sim, your rules. Thank you, my friend. I'm hoping for a roughly 2 hour and like maybe 45-minute run to Narita with 4X speed. It's probably going to be a little bit less. I know I'm not going to go past 4X because I think once you go past 4X, that messes with with everything in terms of like live traffic and whatnot. So we'll skip that. I will say I've been shaking down FS 2024 more and more. It does feel more stable after System Update 3. The problems that I had with frame rates were largely due to overambitious AI recommendations from the NVIDIA app, and also probably a graphics driver update, which didn't seem to work out well. So, all good. It is what it is. Okay, Delta 5? No, no, I want to go all the way out to Delta Niner. And do I stay? No, it's just a slight move over. Does the... It does continue. Good. I was confused for a moment. Um, some soup may be consumed during cruise. Just warning you now. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm flying to Japan. Like, in February and March, when I was doing Project Japan truck streams like crazy, there were a non-zero number of times when after I finished, I said, I need ramen. Legit. Legit. Okay, no traffic. We are good to go. We already have our lights set for departure. We have the clock running. 12-minute ground loop. A little bit behind. That's okay. Again, not ultra realism today. I could say something like, hello, my name is DigiDriver. I'm a scenery developer, flight sim enthusiast, and recovering study level pilot. All right, so we're lined up 26 left, and let's go ahead and give this thing the beans, shall we? Okay, just about 40%, 42% N1, and we are stable. Let's go to our takeoff rating. Okay, power set. Airspeed's alive. Let's go. 80 knots seen. Confirmed. 100. Nice. There we go. V1 and rotate. Gentle, gentle. Let's go. Drifting a little bit to the right, doesn't matter. We are already airborne. Positive rate of climb. Gear up, please. And an immediate slight right turn. Get the nose pointed back down as we depart Vancouver. All right, 1200. Let's go autopilot. LNAV, VNAV. Flaps 1. Checklist, checklist, checklist. What do we have? Flaps good. Landing gear. Give me a bit to get the flaps up. I usually get a little too impatient with retracting the flaps and wind up in a stall situation, which is poor form. Let's not do that. Okay, we are flaps 1. And now we can go flaps up. Flaps up set. There we go. Done deal. Descent we won't touch for a little while. C to U and D. Flaps up. Nose that off. And we are giving it the beans, chat. Okay, quick check. No one's in front. All the traffic's behind us. Let's clear ourselves up to flight level 400, was it? Let me double check. Yes. And let's go. Ah, beautiful. Okay, we're set on climb. Seatbelts to auto. The more adventurous flight attendants will probably start getting ready for the immediate departure service. Look at that. That's amazing. All right. Very loud exterior view, anyone? Here we go. Airborne warning. 3, 2, 1, noise. That's fantastic. I've never appreciated a departure out of a Pacific airport any more than now. I'm sorry, I kind of had a moment there. Legit had a moment. Okay, let's take it back down a bit. Right around here? Yeah, that should be fun. Let me know if the volume is still too loud. I can always adjust it. I'll probably put it to 0 once we get to, established climb, because again, I'm probably going to be playing a little bit. Or at least looking through some things for impending arrival. We are 10,000 feet, so we're going to go ahead and go lights out. So nose and landing lights are out, strobe lights on, and we're flying in the daytime. I'm good. Wing lights not necessary as far as I care. Logo, nav, and beacon lights are on. We could turn the logo light off, but again, this is a DIGI driver flight. I don't care. All right. So, let's see. No weather, just punching through some clouds, and no traffic. We did have some traffic back at the ranch, so we're going to be hitting top of climb in about, I'd say about 6 or 7 minutes, which is unreal. The 789 is just a beast. But there we go. Wow, look at that breakthrough. Okay, so if I take a look at the schedule, we're going to be on the PACOTS route Charlie for a while. So, like I promised, here we go. Rate mode, and we're going to go 2x and 4x. There we go. Welcome to 4x mode, chat. We have now achieved the supersonic efficiency of a mythical airplane with 0 afterburner. And why do we do this? Number one, because DIGI doesn't leave his computer on overnight, and because DIGI likes going places really quickly. Now, is DIGI lazy? Most likely. Does DIGI care? Not at all. This lets me hit Narita in the guise of pretty much a regular stream. And considering how I'd say the majority of flight sim streams, the regular ones, get between the 2 to 3.5 to 4 hour slot in terms of time spent, this is right up my alley. So, let's see. Let me take a look at the charts and just keep following myself as we depart. We are about to fly over. Let's see. This is British Columbia. We're gonna go feet dry over the major island, literally over Comox Valley, of all places. Nice. I want to come back there and make a scenery. I want to come back there and make a scenery. I want to come back there and make a scenery, for sure. It's probably going to go to FS 2024 at this point, but I want to come back there and make a scenery. I want to keep my promises. Meanwhile, look at this view. This is amazing. So nice. So, let me think about this. I don't tend to fly against the wind very much, and I usually tend to keep to my usual pathways in terms of, like, the States. I venture into Canada sometimes. I was debating departing from St. Pierre, Miquelon, and flying to like Halifax and doing like a northern New Brunswick tour. But then I thought to myself, just do a 4X overseas. And the initial plan was Toronto to Frankfurt. But then I thought, and I looked at a YouTube video about international lounges for Air Canada, and then the moment that I saw Vancouver, my brain was like, "Oh, dude, you should totally fly to Tokyo." So that's what we're doing. Not doing too bad. A little bit of bumpiness on the departure. Let me see if I can find windy.com and see what the winds are doing. Winds at 400 or close to are going to be, actually, believe it or not, we're going to get a teensy amount of help from the northern Pacific kind of like shelf between Alaska and Canada, right up until we get to the islands. Then we're going to start hitting the headwinds. And we're pretty much going to be facing headwinds the rest of the trip. So there's that. Not gonna lie, I'm glad I made this choice because I like I like Japan. I definitely am a humongous fan of food culture there. 1,000 to go. And right now, current ground speed is 509 knots, 509er. We have a slight tailwind, just a slight tailwind, not much. Seatbelt signs auto. I let the flight attendants manage that. And there you have it. We have reached cruise altitude. We're 4Xing it to Narita. And if I take a look at the plan, we are we're going to be flying pretty much the next like 8/10ths of the flight in 4X mode until we get just off the coast of, like, what is it, the island of Hokkaido, and then we'll probably go 2X for the descent and then 1X for the approach into Narita. I thought about going into Haneda, but I want to play it by the book in that respect at least, because Narita is probably where the majority of major internationals are going to go, and Haneda is supposed to be way more a regional hub. But it is what it is, and we are now set. Okay, we'll take the noise down a bit. I like 4X flights, and the reason why I like 4X flights is because it gives me a chance to fly to places that I don't typically spend a lot of time flying to. Don't get me wrong, I don't think I'd mind doing like a 4 or 5 hour flight in the appropriate aircraft from, like, say, St. John's to Dublin, or to Heathrow, or to Manchester. And I don't mind doing like a 3, 4, 5, 6 hour flight. It's just that the 6 hour flights, I I don't tend to do them anymore on stream for logistics reasons. I take care of the fam, so I want to do that. And also, I think once I cross like the 3 to 4 hour mark, it it's not like working a job, but I think even I start to get a little winded mentally, and it's like, okay, this is kind of cool and all, but I want to be done. So is what it is. 4X makes me reduce a 10-hour flight to 2.5 hours, and a an eastbound flight over the Atlantic is basically like an hour and a half now. It kind of takes me back to when I was flying the Dark Star. That was fun. I did I did JFK to Heathrow in about 40 minutes at like Mach 8 plus, which was incredible and fun. And I think we did Boston to Orlando in like 20, 25 minutes. That was fast. Okay, so I'm going to, let's see. How can I do this? I'm not sure. All right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the volume up here to about 21, and then I'm going to lower it from the mixer. And what's that level at right now? That's like 6. Honestly, it should probably just be completely muted if I'm going to play games. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our console per se. I'm not expecting much out of this stream, and I do think there is a strong possibility that if I decide to play retro games during cruise, and I am, that there's a good chance that it might decide to um, mute portions of it. So I don't have any strikes on my account, so I'm going to go ahead and just play the games, have fun, and just unpublish the VOD or completely delete it. So let's see. I don't think you can choose to unpublish it while you're recording, but let me just go ahead and find the retro category. Ah, because it's in downloads. Duh. Give me a moment. Let's find some real classic games to play, shall we? And I think I have the classic console set aside. Hang on. Where are we? Overlay. Okay, I don't think I have one, so I'm going to add a capture device for it, and it's going to be a window capture, and we're going to create a new window capture, and we're going to find the window. There we go. You should see it now. Now let's go ahead and move it into place. So we're going to have some fun with some classics, and then probably in about an hour or two, I'm probably going to get up and just make sure that I am otherwise okay. Good thing to keep myself mobile. And that should be good enough. The nice, was that 4:3 aspect ratio? Or is it 3:4? It is what it is. Let me see. Do I want to play Castlevania, or do I want to try to like beat something else? Let me see what I can find. Let me see what I can find. I want to find something that I can just kind of jump into. Jackal, I think, is going to be it. All right, let's see if we actually have audio. I don't think we do. All right, stand by, chat. All right, this will hopefully work. All right, it's a little too loud still. That's good. All right, here we go. Oh wait, is it going to be one of these things where it's like Yeah, it's the control scheme that I have. Hang on. Gotta fix a problem. I think I need to clear a couple of key sets. And that should probably do it. There we go. Right, here we go. Watch out for those turrets. Why are my missiles not firing? There we go, that's better. Alright. Seriously? That's the problem. Alright. How many soldiers can I stuff into a Jeep? Let's find out. That was like 4 or 5. 6 and 7. So, somehow I have like 11 other soldiers on this thing. Let's go! And... oh boy. Dang. Sweet. Alright, this will definitely help us. One turret down. And here we go. Sweet. Missiles don't always fire, so I have to be on my game here. And... that's a lot of soldiers. Don't know why the B button or the A button doesn't always fire. But it could be because of the keyboard buffer limitations, I don't know. I do have to watch out for those tanks because they will just like start coming in fast and furious. Yeah, whoops, that didn't last. Alright, that's good. Here. That's how Arcus likes to say it. I'm here. Of course, not having like the four-way firing thingamabobber makes it difficult. Not impossible, just difficult. Very difficult. Nope, 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 nope. Anything here? Nope. Whoops. Just a little bit longer than probably Switch games. Checking myself here. Okay, just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing any messages. Whoa. Whew. Almost. Anything over here? Ooh, yes. Even that helps. Even that helps. Whoopsies. Nah, this isn't working out. This is not an easy game. It's cool to play, though. So let's go ahead and pick something else from the collection and see what we can find. Meanwhile, we are about, I'd say theoretically, a couple of hours away from the Alaskan Islands. Now, I think those are called the Aleutian Islands. Pretty sure. All right, let's see what else I can find. Do I want Yoshi, World Games? Let's see, hold on. You know what? Let's play some Wario's Woods. Let's see how far I can get. Funny game, but the pacing is too slow for me. Next. All right, let me find something else. Um, Not Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. This isn't that long a haul. What about? Hmm, Bad Dudes? No. Um. Oh, you know what? I think I know what I'm going to do. All right, stand by, chat. Let me grab something. I've recently been getting into SimCity, and not just SimCity, but SimCity for the for like a consoles. So I've played SimCity on the computer, and there were multiple releases, like the Commodore 64, I think the Amiga, and definitely the PC. But I also like playing on the SNES. So hang on, I'm going to add something, and let's see if we can actually play an oldie but a goodie. This will definitely capture my attention for a while. So let me move this into place. And where are we? I might have to blow this up a bit more because it is going to be a bit more kind of like, tech, but this should be fine. Okay, good enough. Let's go ahead and load it. So, standby chat, just loading my game. And we'll see how this works out. Wow, this thing is loud. That's good. And I'm going to double check the input configuration. So we have. Okay, great. Where is the. Why is it not moving? Oh, wait. There we go. I don't know how many folks grew up playing with the Super Nintendo, but I did. It's definitely a piece of kit. I liked it. So let's see. Call it. Let's see. What is it? What do I call it? DIGI. Here we go. Set up a nuclear plant. Right about here. And this is where things get interesting. I learned a hack from somebody to make this very, very interesting. You don't need to put roads all over the place. And I'm going to probably put industrial zones here. We need power. And instead of having to connect lots of roads to them, you can just connect the zones together. And then I can put in a police department and a fire department. And voila. The only thing I don't understand is how to actually scroll. Ah, there we go. That's great. In theory, we could put roads here if we wanted to, but I don't see a need for it right now. And we are growing the population. I think my first reward's either at 500. Okay, maybe it's 1,000. Sorry, just double checking something. I think I'm going to bring a little bit of sound back in from the cabin. And I'm going to double check on... What did I say? I think I said go around altitude at Narita was going to be 6,000. So we are at cruise, so I'm not worried about that. Let's set that to 6,000. And that should be fine. We're good. Let's sync up the current heading, which is 269er. And there we are. All right. All I need to do. Wow, that's kind of crazy. The residential zones filled up so fast. It looks like the logic in the Super Nintendo version makes it... Okay, I was going to say, I wondered if you actually needed to have power lines at all. Hey, Lyles, welcome aboard, my friend. Doing swell, my friend. We are cruising at 40,000 feet. We're flying a plane to Tokyo Narita, but in the meantime, I'm playing Sim City and just kind of like reliving old times. And enjoying a city built primarily on mass transit. Now, I am going to add some roads pretty much right here and kind of break this up a little bit. Nice. And Super Nintendo music, man, it just it makes me smile. All right, I'm gonna put another police station and fire department here. Huh, nice. I forgot about that. So we're gonna build these two right here. And I'm gonna build my house where? Build a house right by the fire department. And we need more residential and more commercial zones. And let's add some more commercial zones now. No. Industrial zones, sir. Hang on. Commercial zones instead. Kaboom. That was kind of fun. All right. And that's the first year almost done. That's crazy. So, do I want to add more residential, more commercial zones? Maybe. I can add them here, and here, and here, and here. Alright, now we need some more industrial zones. Here we go. Oh, not bad. We actually made some money. We'll keep taxes where they are for now. And let's see, we need industrial zones, right? So let's add them over here. Time together. But man, are the commercial zones popping off. That's pretty cool. Let me save this actually, because I don't wanna whatchamacallit, lose that progress. It's actually pretty cool. Interestingly enough, that industrial zone is not being built up, and I wonder why. We are growing, though. Let's go ahead and add some power. Let's have a little bit of fun. This is actually pretty nice. Now I think I can put residential zones in other places, like right here. And down there. So we're almost at 10,000. Yeah, people want to move here. That's nice. All right, some more residential neighborhoods, please. I wonder if we're starting to get to the point where we need an airport or something. Well, we're not there yet. And okay, there we go. Industry's coming up. So industry's really coming up now. Wow. Pollution is high. No bueno. Wish there was a way to control that. Is there a way to? I wonder if parks will offset the pollution. I don't know. But I will try it. I don't want to take out a loan. Yeah, no thanks, bruh. I'm good. Oh, wait, a present? Oh, duh. It's a bank. Okay, I mean, industry is really coming along, but for some reason, Nobody's taking the bait over here. No, I'm good. I do not need a loan, but I don't have that much money. Loads of folks moving in, though. This is good. Sogan, welcome aboard, my friend. We're flying to Japan in a 4X accelerated long haul. Air Canada Flight 197. We're not on any ATC networks, but we are playing Sim City and just enjoying some chill times in DIGI. Let's see if we made money. Welcome, my friend. Very nice to have you. Yes, 2.5 hours. It's a little bit less than 10-hour flight. Okay, so we made like 10 bucks. Okay. I'm gonna save this and take a break, head back to the sim for a little bit, and just kind of stretch my legs. So, all right, stand by, chat. Let's see what's going on. All right, so currently we are literally off the island coasts by about, I don't know, 60 to like 160 or like 200 nautical miles north, but can't see much because clouds, loads of clouds. Let's see, any issues with icing? I mean, we have anti-ice on auto, so we should be okay. Should be, unless I'm wrong, Chad. So this is us. Fuel low center. Looks like we chewed through the center tanks. Show me fuel. Show me fuel. Yeah, 4,900. Maybe we'll dip back to that as necessary, but right now we're okay. This is, I think, a little bit above what we would have had for final reserve, so we should be fine. The actual required flight for today's, excuse me, I was going to say the actual required flight for today's fuel. The actual required fuel for today's flight is 100,511 pounds with contingency and alternate fuel and final reserve. That's easily like 16 to 18,000 pounds extra. So where we are right now, or let me think, us chewing through center tanks, we should be okay. We took 120,800 pounds with us. Ooh, the F-16. Oh man, I mean, probably a fun flight, but at the same time, it's just you. Probably. All right. Chat, give me a few moments. Need to get up. I want to use my legs for a moment and come right back. And we'll hang out here for a little bit before we decide what else we're going to do or play and talk about as we actually get closer to Tokyo Narita. Sit tight, BRB. All right, Chad, I have returned. Thanks for your patience. Let's take a look and see where we are right now. Currently, we are a little over 80 nautical miles from Radek. Radek is where? Crossing over the Alaskan islands and somewhere around or just past Unalaska. And okay, so we are going to start making our gradual left turn towards Japan before or after this waypoint. And we have a teensy bit of weather ahead of us. Or maybe a major bit of weather ahead of us. I don't know. Can't tell from this far out. But we're doing okay. We seem to be doing okay anyway. What other view do we have again? Let's see. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. I like the other wing view better, personally. There we go. All right, let's take a look at winds and weather aloft. Hold on. There's some kind of weather system north of northern Japan, but nothing showing up on the plates. Okay. Oh, wow. So Japan is definitely a bucket list trip for me, that's for sure. I would like to go. I would really like to go. Question is when. The answer is not right now. That's interesting. Um, what kinds of weather patterns does Japan get which are slightly or significantly different than what we see in the States? I mean, they're an island, and I'm assuming that means that some of the systems that they deal with are inherently different from ours. I'm in the mid-Atlantic states, so there are some things I'm probably not going to see in terms of major or minor patterns. I would be curious to know. Meanwhile, I think I'm going to go ahead and delve into some food lore because hungry. So, oh wow. So, chat, There is an entry on Wikipedia about Japanese cuisine. Japanese cuisine encompasses the regional and traditional foods of Japan, which have developed through centuries of political, economic, and social changes. I'll share my screen with you guys just so you can see what I'm looking at. Where are we? There we go. Oh, gotta adjust it. Beautiful. So, the traditional cuisine of Japan is based on rice with miso soup and other dishes with an emphasis on seasonal ingredients, which honestly is a pretty cool way to be. Okay, so back to weather. Comes from China. Weather creeps up from the south. Hokkaido is almost always cold and gets up to moderate temps in the summer, often getting snowstorms from Russia. Down south, like Osaka, is always very humid. That's interesting. That's interesting. Thank you. Side dishes often consist of fish, pickled vegetables, tamagoyaki, and vegetables cooked in broth. Common seafood is often grilled, but is also sometimes served raw as sashimi or sushi. Seafood and vegetables are also deep fried in a light batter as tempura. Apart from rice, a staple includes noodles, such as soba and udon. Japan also has many simmered dishes, such as fish products in broth called oden, or beef in sukiyaki and nikujaga. Historically influenced by Chinese cuisine, Japanese cuisine has also opened up to influence from Western cuisines in the modern era. Dishes inspired by foreign food, in particular Chinese food, like ramen and gyoza, as well as foods like spaghetti, curry, and hamburgers, have been adapted to Japanese tastes and ingredients. Traditionally, the Japanese shunned meat as a result of adherence to Buddhism, but with the modernization of Japan in the 1880s, meat based dishes such as tonkatsu and yakiniku have become common. Since this time, Japanese cuisine, particularly sushi and ramen, has become popular globally. Ooh. Pacific, Western Pacific, and forecasts 28 and 48 hours ahead. Dude, feel free to drop a link in chat if you want. In 2011, Japan overtook France to become the country with the most three-starred Michelin restaurants. As of 2018, the capital of Tokyo has maintained the title of the city with the most three-starred restaurants in the world. In 2013, Japanese cuisine was added to the UNESCO Intangible Heritage List, which sounds interesting. I don't know what that means, but they are pretty high up there in terms of a culinary destination, which, in my opinion, sounds cool. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of miso, and definitely, excuse me, definitely tonkatsu. Um, I've visited family, and I've gone to a place which is basically a a massive supermarket. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with Mitsuwa. Mitsuwa is like a supermarket that added um, a food court onto it. The food you can get there is incredible, and miso ramen that basically eats like a meal. The broth alone will fill you up. It's just delicious. Like I'm I'm low key craving it now. I would like to go there again soon. So let me go to jma.go.jp. Ooh, interesting. Wow. this is this is probably going to take me some time to digest, but thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's interesting. I mean, the US and Canada have, there's this humongous North American landmass which presents an interesting, I don't know, stage on which to have weather roll through. You've got the West Coast with like the rocky hills, mountains, and places where like weather just kind of comes in and goes kaboom, and then just like draws itself out into, I guess, the high mesas, and then the Rockies themselves, and then the flat Midwest, and probably the humid weather that builds up there, and then the Appalachians, and then the East Coast. So there's places where the weather plays out in just explosive ways. A stagnant front just off the coast of China, and high pressure surrounds the nation. Okay. Do fronts move through the country as quickly as they do in the States? I would presume the answer is no. So, unless I'm wrong about this, I would imagine that there are like rainy seasons over there. I'm probably wrong. I'm thinking more of like places like Singapore, maybe Hong Kong. Let me check my performance for landing. Do we want flaps 25 or flaps 30? I think I'm going to take flaps 25 because there's not much of a difference. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So roughly 162 is going to be our landing speed, which is cool. It's going to be a little zippy, but it's going to be cool. If I go to Japan, I want to ride on a Shinkansen train at least once. I get the feeling I'd be doing that a lot if I actually get a chance to do a proper bucket list trip. Eat loads of food. Eat loads of food. Excuse me. Twitch speak is a thing. Blech. Eat loads of food and maybe drink a Sapporo. Definitely check out like Tokyo, go to Osaka, go to Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Maybe go as far as Fukuoka, and check out a few places for like cars. Fronts are more active to the north, where the warm Pacific southern air meets the cold Russian air. Yes, yes, I would believe that. I would believe that. How are we for time and distance? Okay, we have pretty much crossed into what I'm saying is the homeward portion at this point. We are leaving Alaska in the dust. Ooh, cool. Analysis chart. 24-hour forecast chart. Ooh, nice and crisp. I wonder if we'll see any fog. Maybe not. But I do wonder. And I see the stationary front now. Which is cool. Looks like the clouds cleared up a little bit. It looks like that stagnant front will transition into a cold front and push through Hokkaido. Oh, man. I woke up this morning and we left for church in the AM. It was so nice out. Just a little bit of cold air hitting me. I was just like, oh, man. Tomorrow's the first day of September. It's incredible. August ripped through so fast. I probably say this about every single month, but honestly, I don't remember Augusts being this fast paced before. I'm happy that it's actually in the 70s after months of the 90s. I respect that comment. I fully do. We Mrs. Digi and I are coming into our own because everything from September on through the end of the year, it's just like the days are getting shorter, the days are getting colder. There's more of an inclination to get together with family and just enjoying cold air and hot food. In that order. So it's wonderful. Man, I look forward to this time of year, and I'm so happy it's coming back around. When I was a kid, I looked forward to, you know, summer vacation in the American school system because I did September through to June, and then basically we had like the rest of June and then July and August. And then after about a week in September, we went back to class. But as an adult, getting back to the place where like it starts to get colder and you have to take your jacket out more and then have to start grabbing for a coat. That's when it's like, you know, time with family and friends is amazing. I'm sorry to hear that, Sogan. I um I understand, or I don't understand, but I'm saying I I sympathize with people that can't get around very far because of limitations with mobility, which is basically what Mrs. Digi has or has been dealing with over the past. Okay, and I think we're coming on to the westernmost American settlements. We have airport ICAO's Papa Alpha Alpha Tango and Papa Alpha Sierra Yankee, which is amazing. I don't think there's any more airports past this point. So, is what it is. American airports, I mean. Hey, Sim Caesar coming in with a party at 23. Welcome aboard, friends. We are 4Xing it from Vancouver to Tokyo Narita. And we're flying the Air Canada 787-900 courtesy of Horizon. Horizon Simulations, I think. It's such a nice looking plane. Tyro, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome aboard, my friend. Good to see everybody. For the new and the uninitiated, my name is Digi Driver. I'm a longtime flight simulator enthusiast, and scenery developer. I do play a few other games as well from time to time, but today we are doing a long haul to Tokyo. Yeah, no worries, Tyro. I'm happy to have you. Happy to have you back as well. Hello, everybody. We are in the Horizon 787-900. We're cruising at 40,000 feet. And let me take a look at the progress page to see when we actually get down to top of descent. It doesn't show it yet, but let's see. Currently 0140 Zulu. We've got about 4 hours. So basically about an hour of accelerated time until we actually get to our destination. I suspect it's going to be closer to, like, another hour and like a half once we actually transition to get down to the airport, because I'm going to start removing acceleration, time acceleration, because we're currently running at 4x speed. And I do that for a couple of reasons. One, because I like doing long haul flights in a manageable amount of time. And two, because usually I don't do overnight flights, or I don't do as many long haul flights as I used to coming up. And this is just a nice way to talk about a place that we're flying to and get there in a relatively short period of time. But again, SimSeether, thank you so much for the raid. Really appreciate it, and I hope that everybody's doing well. Makers Dave, hello. Monster, hello. Good to see you, my friend. And wishing everybody a good afternoon. We are probably, actually, yeah, we're actually not that far away from Japan now. We are just off the coast of what you might call a Russian isthmus, just a chunk of land that's kind of like almost an island, but not quite, in the northern Pacific. And then we're going to be flying past Hokkaido and then coming into the main island of Honshu shortly. We've been talking about Japanese weather and culture, food. I've played a few games while we were in cruise, and I have a little bit of snack left for myself. After I land, it's probably going to be the stream, and then I'll probably make some dinner for myself and Miss DIGI, and probably catch some of you all around the Twitchverse. We are how far away? It was like it was like 4 hours away. So yeah, an actual hour of time is left, and then we can move on. Well, an hour of time is left, but it's going to be an hour and like 20 minutes or an hour and a half, and then like an hour 45 as we go back to 1x time. We will go from like 4x to 2x probably around flight level 270, and then we'll go from 2x to 1x once we cross 10,000 feet. But yeah, meanwhile, I'm enjoying the wonderful cabin and sounds of the 789. And yeah, we're pretty good on volume levels. We're pretty good. At least I think we are. Sometime in the next like 20 to 30 minutes, we'll see the island of Hokkaido showed up, probably off of our 2 or maybe even 3 o'clock. We probably won't see much of it. It may be a lot closer to the horizon because of our approach into Narita. But man, all this talk about Japan makes me want to like grab some ramen afterwards. And no joke, because I like eating ramen. Probably a well advertised piece of Digi trivia. Okay, we're getting closer, turning a little bit more each time towards a southwestern heading. But we're not at the airport. We're nowhere close to the airport yet. Once I start seeing a whole bunch of waypoints up here, then we know we know it's close. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful Sunday afternoon or Monday morning if you're overseas. To anyone watching that's actually in Japan, good morning. Ohayo gozaimasu. We are inbound to Tokyo Narita. We took off from Vancouver at right around real time. So I think we departed Vancouver literally at like 1:30 or 1:45. And after we got established on the climb, we went to 4x speed and been here ever since. I wonder if a flight from Seattle to Sydney took about 16 hours or less, that would probably be about 4 hours of time actually on stream. So, in theory, there's not much to stop me from doing Qantas airline streams now, if I wanted to. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. I think this 2.5 to 3 hour ish flight is plenty, and 4x still lets you, I think, see a lot of the things going on and not run into too many issues with like scenery loading and whatnot. I think. But again, welcome aboard. All right. Sneaking in a few bites as we get closer and closer to our destination. It does look like we are coming up on our destination very shortly. I'm trying to find out when top of drop is. Let me take a look at the approach into Narita. It doesn't actually say much. But if I take a look at the ILS Zulu approach, then we need to be at 6,000 feet at Norma and then 4,000 feet at Koala. 6,000 is our go-around altitude. So, assuming these legs are about 30-ish nautical miles apiece, we'll have like 60, 74, like 80 some odd nautical miles to begin the descent to 6,000. We're at 40,000, so we're going to be a little over 32,000 feet for the descent, which means we're probably going to be descending either just before or just after Oldiv. And if that's the case, then we could plan a descent to roughly 6,000 feet. And unless I'm wrong, we should be at 6,000 by Acela and then around 4,000 at Pyxis. Those are waypoints on the approach. We're going to make a left turn to final. I I don't know. Hold on. I mean, I'm relatively sure we're real time right now, but let me check. Yeah, yeah, we're real time. We're just basically accelerated. But right now, right now it would be 8:15 a.m. if we're thinking actual instant real time. When we arrive in the sim, it's going to be closer to, I believe, 4 p.m. because I left Vancouver around somewhere between 1:30 and 2 p.m. Vancouver time, which would have been about four some odd, close to four some odd, like 4 or 5 p.m. my time. Morning right now, yes. Morning when we arrive, no. We're gonna get there. Actually, hold on. We're gonna get there at 0539 Zulu. So, wait, who's confused? Because because I am. I mean, if we did the flight real time, then yeah, we would be getting there in the afternoon. Confusion sets in. If I had a Digi math emote, I'd probably be putting it in chat. Like, I'm confused. But that's okay. Keeping a close eye on. Is that top of descent? Yes, it is. And when did I say we'd probably want to begin descent? Past Adnap. Yeah, for sure. And Envup and Algis. No Civ. No, was it no Jix? Yep, yep. So yeah, pretty much around this, the leg just before we kind of go straight into the coast is when we're probably going to start descending. There are some tiny splotches of weather at the moment. All right, there we are. That's cool. Always been a fan of the red leaf livery with a black tail for Air Canada. It's my favorite livery for them. Some people like the kind of like the pastel, like the electric blue livery, whatever that's called. Teach their own. And I do like the WestJet livery as well. Yeah, we keep this up. We'll probably have a little over an hour to go of real time. Has anybody spent time away with family or friends this Labor Day if you are stateside? I plan to spend time with family very soon, and I do have a little bit of time off afterwards as well. So I'm kind of looking forward to just a few more days to just detune until we have to do stuff or focus on stuff for the rest of the month. Then, like I said, colder weather, shorter evenings, and the quick descent into the holiday season. Oh no, there goes DG again saying those two words. It's okay. I uh I am a firm believer in early celebration. So that by the time I actually get to the point where everybody else is on board and you start hearing it all over the place, I start to feel like, oh man, like we're actually in the thing now. And like it's just how I tackle the season every year. So I enjoy that. It's a point of contention with some people that I know. It's okay. It's okay. They can be wrong about it. I am, of course, talking about my affinity for the Christmas season, and people are like, "Dude, it's not even Halloween yet. Stop talking about it." I'm like, "Nope, don't care." But but with all due respect, this has actually been a really great summer season for weather. Um, at least where I am. So I'm grateful, and I am looking forward to seeing the colors change again, provided the system is really good. I hope you are as well, Sogan. I really do. May the Lord bless and heal you in Jesus' name. But sheesh, what? That puts us into like October. I would like to be doing some cool stuff in October. I think I'd like to start doubling down again on scenery development. And I'm not sure if that means that I'm going to be streaming even less because I want to focus on airport dev. I've only got a couple of airports that I want to complete or dress up for FS 2020. I think I'm looking forward to, like I said earlier, I'm looking forward to getting more into FS 2024 for scenery development and for releasing airports there. There are so many airports that I guess you could say, earmarked for myself to look into that I have no shortage of airports to focus on. And I'm not sure if I'm going to put derivative or like introductory versions of those airports on flightsim.to. I think I'm probably going to try to release some payware either this year or next year because I need the money. If we're being transparent here, I am trying to do my best to keep the fam going, and to be honest, by the grace of God, we have been able to do just that. I'm so grateful. There was a point earlier this year when things got really scary more than a few times, and we were able to get to the point where it's just like we can breathe. Breathing, breathing is so nice. Being able to actually survive. And if you're somebody listening to this that's having a really hard time, I don't know what your situation is, and I don't understand everything you're going through, but just know that you have my respect. I'm grateful for the lessons I've learned. There, some of those lessons have been lessons that I did not want to be exposed to, but some of life's courses are mandatory and they're not electives. Yeah, yeah, I'm hoping the same for you too, Sogan. Folks, in case you're missing any context, I myself, I'm a born again Christian. I am a believer in a personal relationship with God through Jesus Christ, and that if we elect to do that and to pursue that in our lives, we have meaning while we're alive here, and eternal fellowship with our Heavenly Father in heaven. If we don't trust Christ as Savior, then we spend eternity apart from Him in a place called hell. I believe that a personal relationship with God is essential for navigating the things of life, even when things suck so much that you are literally holding yourself together, going, I don't know how I'm going to make it through this. But I always like to tell people this: I want everybody to be as I am in Christ, but I do not want to push what I believe on people, or rather, not push. I don't want to force what I believe on people and just like make it like rah. Like, I want people to make the choice for themselves. And even if you don't subscribe to the things that I believe in or the Savior that I have through Jesus, I'm glad to have you with me right now. I welcome you to just kick your feet up, relax, enjoy. We've literally got, I think, about 45 minutes until we actually get into Narita at this point. It's amazing how fast this flight actually went. Like, we're literally on like the last, I'd say, 25% of the flight, and we're going to begin descending probably in just about 30 minutes at 4x, which is superb. I'm glad that I chose to fly to Japan today. I just I just wish I was going somewhere to get some tonkatsu ramen. Not gonna lie. And folks, as always, you never have to feel led to do anything on this channel. If all you want to do is lurk, go ahead and lurk. I appreciate the support. You are bringing the algorithm to me, so thank you. Feel free to follow. If you feel so led, I'd always appreciate a sub or a bit cheer or a donation through Stream Elements. That is up to you. You simply being here and engaging in chat is rewarding. It just kind of like reinforces me being in front of the virtual controls of a heavy aircraft that I should have no business flying in real life, but this is a good thing, a very good thing. So, keeping my eyes open for weather, do we even have any on the fish finder? Does not appear to be the case. Does not appear to be the case. We don't have any traffic around us at the moment. Probably won't until we get pretty close to Tokyo. And yeah, we've just been full on airspeed. I mean, 4x speed. We're kind of covering the Earth at about 1,700 knots right now. Maybe even 1,800 knots. We're zipping. We are literally zipping across the sky. Super cruise with no afterburner. But again, we are going to start reducing our sim rate once we start descending. And then hopefully we'll come into a nice approach into Narita. Actually, bit of Digi trivia. I didn't play. The military would be jealous, especially considering the number of passengers that we're actually escorting at that airspeed, which is cool. Um, I remember playing FSX Steam Edition, the kind of like helicopter turned spy mission. You took some passengers to Tokyo Narita from like a helipad um, somewhere, whether it was Haneda or somewhere. You went from Haneda to like a rooftop, picked up some passengers, went to Narita, and then you hopped into a CRJ 700 and you followed the plane around. And they flew, I think, to the east coast of Tokyo or the west coast of Tokyo. And Then they landed in this kind of like, lair somewhere. It was it was amazing. It was actually pretty cool. One of the most challenging landings that I did in the CRJ. I forget. I think it's like Metro Tokyo helicopter mission or something, whatever that is. It was actually pretty cool. But yeah, roughly 1,800 knots with about 300 passengers on board. That's cool. I'm a fan, a turbo fan. Literally coming up at about 30 minutes before we actually start descending. And what's nuts is how the top of drop and the approach is so close to each other, but basically this is each band is 320 nautical miles. So after we descend, I would say we still have another 100 nautical miles or so before we actually arrive at our destination. Okay. It's nice to still see daylight right now where I am at 6:31 p.m. Eastern. I know in sheesh, what, about 1 or 2 months, we're gonna get to a place where it's just gonna be dark. I pray that happens for you very soon, Sogan. I was just remarking about the spread in terms of flight sims that I've installed and uninstalled. I think my average or my mean time on a sim before it gets uninstalled or relegated to nostalgia state is about 4.5 years. That's great. I hope that means you're that much closer to a fix and basically getting everything back in shape, other than, I know, money or funds. I think we've wait. Does the fog layer go up this high? I don't know. Weather telemetry. Okay, I see it. Yeah, not that far away now. Okay, not gonna lie, the new hotness for me is mini PCs and like micro laptops. Not necessarily the micro laptops per se, because I still have my Surface Pro 3, which I use as like a second screen. But the idea of a PC being smaller than a an uninterruptible power supply and being able to like play games like at 1080p at like 30 or 60 frames per second and only costs like about $400 or $500. It's just, it gets my brain spinning because it's just like the idea of that much optimization and having that much power in such a compressed space or in such a small package. It's superb. It reminds me of like the Raspberry Pi 4 that I have and how I'll probably be messing around with that later this evening. But I I look forward to seeing what else we can do with technology. I mean, we're already at a point where we can emulate so much stuff with all that power. So I it'd be interesting to see what else we can achieve. I'm a fan. Do we have top of drop? Not yet. Not yet. Which one's your favorite? I've never played Ocarina of Time. I have Majora's Mask 3D for the 3DS, but I haven't played it, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want to sink the time into playing it, but I have older Zelda games like Zelda 1 and 2. Zelda 1 is the classic, never beaten but always appreciated game. Crafted for hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. You made it just in time. We're still at 40,000 feet. We've been flying from Vancouver at 4x speed, and eventually we're going to begin our descent into Tokyo. Majora's Mask seems to sound more interesting. That's for sure. I know it's complex. Uh, what am I saying? It's a complex mechanic in terms of like time mechanics, or basically time sensitive gaming is usually way more involved. That's right, Crafted. Pacific Ops, faux show. We have been over the Pacific Ocean for literally like the past like couple of hours. So we are gonna be descending. We're gonna probably hit top of drop in about a half an hour. Although my timing is most likely out because I've been saying that for the past like 40 minutes. We are at 4x speed right now, and we are going to be coming into our drop very soon. Once we get to just past the top waypoint, or at that very top waypoint, we're going to be descending. So in about 30 minutes, literally in about 30 minutes. This is the Horizon 789. It's wonderful. It just has it seems to be like the stablest implementation of a 787 in FS 2020 in terms of like ground handling and overall heft. It doesn't feel as like crazy, ginormous heavy as like say a 748 would, but you're not steering a CJ4. You're not steering a Longitude. You're not taxiing a Cessna down the runway. In terms of sim frame rate, yes. In terms of overall performance, we're like econo cruising at almost Mach 0.85. This thing could probably do 0.88 or 0.89. The 78X will do Mach 0.9er. But overall, I'm a big fan of this thing. And I still have the Kuro Mod 788, which I always like to call the sports sedan of the 787 family. But this one's nice. If if the if the if the 788 is the sports saloon, The 789 is almost like the estate wagon, and the 7810 is a stretch limo. Yeah, yeah. 788 and 789 variants get my attention. 789 is like superb for long hauls like this. 788 is just like a fun size thing for definitely short to medium haul. Like flying a 788 from, say, New York to Orlando or New York to Atlanta feels like almost like luxurious. But that's just me. That is just me. Oh wow. This is coming up really fast now. It doesn't look that way, but those waypoints are clicking out now. Yeah, if you're an FS 2020 and you have the Premium Deluxe package, which includes the base 78710, then you can probably install the Horizon 789 through the Orbex store to FS 2020, and I think also to FS 2024. The only problem is I think you need the 787 from the 2024 version, which means you need to get that pay level or bundle level for the sim. I forget if it was the premium or like the next to highest level to get the 787, which it probably was. Um, I didn't get the ultra high up or next to ultra high up purchase for FS 2024. I got standard. I'm happy I did. I'm still slowly stepping into the new sim, and I have premium deluxe for FS 2020. I'm okay. Ooh, wow. A long haul in the A380. That's that's probably one of my next adventures that I haven't begun doing, which would be kind of fun. Learning the A380. The last plane that really took me a long time to learn, believe it or not, was the Airbus family, the A319. When I was in X-Plane 11 flying the Solus, it took me a while to wrap my head around the concept of like, all this planning and all this configuration that's handled by the computers on board that thing. And then once I got it, it just kind of it clicked. And so the A319, the A320, and I'm assuming by default the A321, very similar systems, and it's just something that kind of clicked. I haven't flown the A330 much in X-Plane 12 because there are some differences, and I have the A310, and I think even the A300 in FS 2020, but I haven't flown the A310 lately because there's still so much I don't understand about the systems in that plane, and there's a lot of analog switch flipping and analog gauge monitoring that I have to do in that plane. So usually, if I fly that at all, which I haven't flown it in a long time, it's with the help of the AI first officer. Well, Sogan, I have done more than a few flights in X-Plane 12. One I did from up the East Coast. I think I flew out of Sydney. No, it wasn't out of Sydney. It was out of Cairns, I think. And default airports sometimes are hit and miss, but not that often. Default airports sourced, created by people, and the experience with auto ortho for me is incredible. I'm very happy that I'm flying in there. Although I might try to get the Sim Sim Heaven X World vegetation update so that I don't run into problems with runways, which I did, which was really funny. But um, overall, overall, The X-Plane 12 experience for me with auto ortho has been wonderful. Vegetation, meh, but it's a great fallback sim for me, and it's a great place to go to when I feel like, hey, I want to fly in a sim, but I don't want to fly in MSFS. Let's go into X-Plane 12. And with the planes that I have and some of the places that I've visited, the views are very nice. Now, barring you want to get up really close and personal with the photogrammetry, photogrammetry king being FS 2020 and FS 2024, some of the scenery that in certain parts of the world is probably going to look better in MSFS than in X-Plane 12. But people can create handcrafted scenery that rivals what you see, so. That would be interesting. Given the current auto-generated X-Plane 12, though, I would be a little afraid that the 3D generated shapes for the buildings would not translate well into actual objects. However, if that represented a huge performance boost to the sim, I might be willing to overlook that. Because X-Plane 12, I think X-Plane 12 uses just a touch less performance on my PC than X-Plane 11 did, but it's still a bit of a beefy sim. Way more performance that it chews through than say FS 2020. Definitely more than FS 2024. Definitely. Yep. Still got the sun overhead, so we are still well on our way into Japan. And we are, I'd say, approximately 300-ish nautical miles due east of the northern portion of the island of Honshu. So we are definitely barreling in on the approach. Oh, Crafton, I'm a huge fan of the red leaf black tail livery on this thing. Huge. To me, it's literally one of the best looking liveries in the world. So, there, I said it. um, it is nice. It is definitely nice. Let's see, demof4map.com. Ooh. So, I'm looking at what you sent me, Sogan. I want to see what's up. Because I appear to have come into where we are. And I'm guessing what I'm looking at is open street map data, or at least just maps. That's cool. The site takes building data and renders it in 3D. Will you get either of the A340s for MSFS when they release? That depends, Crafton. I need to have disposable spend. Unfortunately, at the moment, I don't. If someone gifted me the A340, I would definitely be compelled to try it. It's an amazing looking plane, 4 engines, and I flew on one not that long ago, some years back, to do a cruise in the Caribbean. If I had the money and I was going to buy it myself, I think the thing that would make me decide would be price. If it was reasonably affordable and it was an extension of a really good amount of, say, systems and all the things that go together to making a great looking plane and great performing plane, I probably would. I will say that I would definitely at least wait to hear from a few people that shook it down fairly well to see what's involved. Because otherwise, if I had it, then boom, that's like an instant long haul plane. And I'd probably be doing more streams like this, like more 2.5 hour flights to cover 10-hour stretches of flying. So, what would that be? Like roughly, I don't know, Marrakesh to Johannesburg, or uh, like London to Dubai or Abu Dhabi. So I think it opens up new possibilities, but I think also at this point we're talking about companies releasing aircraft for one or two versions of the same sim. They're probably going to start indexing a lot more into FS 2024. And if that's the case, the performance of those planes are going to be even a, like such a more important sticking point for me, because I would not have a ideal setup. It would need to be performant, and I would probably be using it in conjunction with lossless scaling, which is what I'm doing right now for smoother frames. But yeah, I'd be curious to try out the A340. Yeah, yeah, and it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise for me because, okay, we're coming up on what? Let's see, October, November, December. So we're coming up on 9 months since FS 2024 released, and it's come a long way. It's come a long way. Do I feel like it's something that I'm ready to make a full commitment to? Not right now. Mostly because the amount of stuff that I'd like to get transferred into it is not totally compatible. Some, like one of the biz jets that I have is not totally compatible, I think, at this point. And there's some I'm going to call them limitations in terms of what my experience is. But if I fully commit and I burn the ships and I say, nope, I'm fully 2024 at this point, I'm not going back, then I'm going to have to spend time figuring out how to remap everything or get the mappings working the way that I want them to. Um, it's not impossible, it's just going to take more time. So, so yeah, like, am I concerned about Asobo or Microsoft, you know, nerfing FS 2024 after this year? Not really, because I already have 2024, and if they go full bore on it, then I'm just going to go, oh, okay, well, 2020 is gone now. Let's go into 2024, and I'll probably focus a lot more on simpler flights and way more scenery dev until I make enough money to buy my own sim rig. and then and then they can get into, the technicals. But between FS 2020, FS 2024, and X-Plane 12, I'm going to have a huge playground to spend time in. So it's a pretty cool idea. I will tell you that um, P3D is really starting to get long in the tooth for me, and I'm a nostalgia holic, but I spent some time last night really thinking about how much more I can get out of that sim. And it's really only a couple of aircraft and some older sceneries that I had for that platform for FSX. So some of those airports are old, and I don't know that my planning or justification for having certain bits and pieces of, you know, old tech is cutting the mustard. And I think, Sogan, for me, the thing that's kind of sticking in my brain is, if I'm not even firing up P3D to do plane watching, then what does that tell me? Like, the last meaningful flight I had in P3D on stream, I think was last spring, I want to say. It was when I did that Halifax to Keflavik flight in the Quality Wing 787. And that was a nice flight. I accelerated to, I think, 2x or 4x, and then we landed BIKF. We did, I think we did a northbound landing, taxi to the gate. It was a beautiful, just a beautiful landing and approach. I enjoyed it. And then we parked up. I think I tried flying back once. I forget if I actually did that on stream. But P3D has a whole bunch of AIG model matching and like World of AI aircraft. But the fundamental problem with aircraft in P3D that you see that are flying routes is, I think they despawn, either they despawn a certain distance from the airport, or they're not, it's not live traffic. And I mean, back in my FSX days, I could care less. Like, okay, I don't have a live traffic plugin. Big deal. There's a lot of AI generated aircraft that are in the air, that are flying or landing someplace. Cool, I can watch them. I think I still like P3D for that, but I think the day I come across a problem with the space of my computer, which I'm getting close to, is probably going to be the day that goes. And I mean, I had zero qualms about getting rid of X-Plane. I literally got rid of X-Plane weeks after I put a post out in my Discord saying, hey, I like X-Plane 11. I'm going to hold on to it for a little while. Apparently, it really was a little while, because just literally like 2, 3, 4 weeks later, it was gone. Yeah, yeah. Hard disk space issues. Way in, chat. But yeah, seriously, like between the 788, the 789, and the 78X, I have FS 2020 giving me my 787 hit on a regular. And I have a 747. And I have a triple. And I have a 737-600. So it's like, okay. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could fly the FSS E-Jets. I could. But I also have the complimentary E-Jets, which I think X-Crafts gave away to X-Plane 12 users. Exactly. Exactly. So if we have real-time traffic data and we don't care about the amount of time it takes for that data to get to us, whether it's 30 seconds or 5 minutes, then that kind of, it does kind of sort of make me think about um the experience of like airplane watching a different way. I mean, back in like 2021 or like 2022, okay, flying P3D, some people had it on VATSIM still, even after FS 2020 released for the first few years. So model matching and seeing a lot of people line up, great stuff. it'll it'll probably stay on my computer at least up until December, and then we'll see whether or not it's going to get the boot. But I suspect that might happen sooner rather than later. Much love to you, Craft and Fur. Have a great rest of your Monday morning. And if I don't catch you, have a great rest of your day. And here we go. We've just begun the descent. This is unbelievable. Well, no, it's as real as it gets. But we are now descending. We've left flight level 400, and we're going to be going down to 6,000 feet. Exactly how long it takes us to get down to that point, I don't know, but we definitely want to get down to that point as we line up for the approach. It was hilarious how quickly the 4x speed made the engine sound like they were spooling down. And we are so quiet on the way down. Such a nice plane. Land ho! We are on our way in, chat. As you will, Yahweh. Ooh, look at that. I'm going to catch that as well. Okay, 27,000 feet. We're going to go rate mode back to 2x. Seeing the fuel usage drop was nice. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, so chat, strap in. We're coming into Japan and we got business to settle. So, I think that's Mount Fuji way in the back. And what do we have even? You know, let's arm the speed brakes, please. Speed brakes armed. And let's take a look at the data for 16 right. 16 right is 13,123 feet. I'm going to go ahead and assume that Terminal 1 is probably going to be the international arrivals, unless it's somewhere else. So, let me ask the question. The international terminal at Narita is... probably Terminal 2. Yeah, yeah. So, Terminal 2 it is. Terminal 2 it is. Terminal 2 is actually on the other side, but if we use up a good chunk of the runway and we exit on the Alpha 6 high speed, we can go to Alpha, Whiskey 10, and I think that's Whiskey, and then Charlie, and follow Charlie around to Sierra 6. We will see how that works out. So I'm probably going to go with auto brake 2 for this. And before I forget, I'm going to put my landing lights on now because I am lazy. Do I want wing lights on? It's not night. And we are coming into 1013 QNH. This is superb. Thanks again to everybody that's tuned in today and said hello. Thank you. Appreciate having all of you here. It's been pretty cool. It actually has been pretty cool. So, what was it? It was 157. I'm going to set my heading bug for that. Oops, almost. Careful. Yeah, we're in auto. So auto bank and stuff like that. Looks like we'll be at 6,000, well ahead of restrictions. but I think I need to be at 4,000, so I'm going to go ahead and choose 4,000 for the arrival. And then once we're set up on the approach, I'll bump it back up to 6,000 in case we have to use go around. Okay. By the way, chat, just let me know if you're seeing any issues with frames or drop frames or stuff like that. My connection says unstable, so I'm not sure if we're running into issues. And we are coming into roughly 10,000 feet. We do have the landing lights on already. And I'll probably turn my... No, I won't need them. Yeah, daytime landing. So theoretically, it would be landing around like 440 something over here. And it's crazy. We're just about to hit the 3-hour mark on stream. So just a touch over total time for the flight, but definitely enjoying myself. Okay, seatbelts on, auto brake 2, speed brakes armed, QNH 1012, LNAV right now, and we are configured for runway 16 right. Okay, we are below 10,000 feet. Back to 1x speed. There we go. All right, chat, welcome. I do think I see Narita way over there, and we are coming in to land. Wonderful. Happy with what we have so far? And if we have another situation where we touch down and go kablooey, we will have touched down. So, as of this point, I'm not doing anything else with regards to external views or excess switching. It is what it is. Once we get off the runway is going to be when I actually take a look at maps and decide where we're going to taxi to. But so far, so good. And let me go ahead and just free up some room. All right, wonderful. So again, approach speed is going to be 162 knots, flaps 25. Trying to get slowed down some more apparently. You know what we need to do? We need to get down to 4,000 feet and with a quickness. So let's go ahead and do that now, please. All right, let's get down to 180 knots right away. Okay, so I'm taking over the process here. Do I need to be at 180 knots right this instant? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm also, again, I tend to get very controlly once I start to get close to a final approach, and I do not see the configuration or the performance that I'm expecting. Better to be way ready for it than roll out and still be like 230 knots on the final approach hitting the beam. Because it's way harder to slow down on final as you're descending than to actually say, hey, let's actually do the thing. All right, let's do flaps 1. Checklist. Run a checklist, please. Descent, recall, auto brake, recall. And landing data and approach briefing. Approach altimeters. Double checked. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna do flaps 5, I think. And that will put us around 180 knots. We might not need to be at flaps 5 right now, but at the same time, again, just leaving myself configured earlier for landing is way better than not being configured at all. But 180 set for the approach, I'm happy. I almost feel tempted to accelerate time again. I'm not going to do it. I just want the sim to be nice and happy, and I think a little extra time making sure we're configured for approach is going to pay off dividends. Ooh, and it does look like we have loads of traffic in the vicinity as well. Did things change? $80, $40, $20. Nope, I don't think things changed at all. I think we're still heading to the south. We are way out here, Chad. And pretty much once we roll out to final, I'm going to go ahead and finish configuring the plane the rest of the way. I don't care how slow I am. We're going to be coming in at 162 knots, fully configured flaps 25. Let's do flaps 10. Once I hit the approach button, I will tune us back up to 6,000 for go around. And let's do flaps 15. I'm going to resist the temptation to put the gear down until we roll out on final. Crazy. Okay, here we go, chat. Don't know why approach mode isn't arming, but that's okay. If we have to fly it down manually, we will. Okay. LNAV, and where is it that we come into the beam? We're going to be coming into the beam at GoCore. So that's when the beam shows up. Right, stand by. I don't know if I borked the setup or if it just doesn't want to activate the approach until it's nice and settled. Do we have the runway in sight? We do, so we could theoretically go visual if we wanted to. That's what we have to do. That's what we will do. Give me flaps 18 and give me flaps 20 and 25. We'll take gear. There we go. Approach mode armed. It's kind of crazy that I wasn't able to actually turn approach mode on until I got to landing gear down, flaps 15. Well, we were flaps 15, weren't we? We were. We just weren't fully configured. I may have to remember that for next time because that was a little unsettling. Okay, let's see. Mr. Approach altitude is set, and we are below 4,000. Runways in sight, and we will put VREF +5. So we are sinking 8 and reffing 5, which is 162. This is a pretty flat and almost negative descent angle. Kind of nuts. But we are in the localizer. Flight attendant, seats for landing, please. Beautiful countryside. Wow. Hey, DIGI, why don't you fly over international more? This is amazing. I may have to consider this the start of an international tour. $2,500, and we are fully configured. Flaps 25, gear down. Yarp. Okay, so shutdowns the only list left over. Back to CDU for you. And let's line us up, shall we? $1,500 feet. Winds are from the, looks like the southwest. Slightly variable, about 9 or 10 knots. Little bumpy. Yep, auto brake 2, speed brakes armed. Seatbelt sensor on. $1,000 stable. Alright, good enough. My aircraft. Pitch up a little bit. Wow. Remember the golden rule with the 787, do not turn the auto throttle off until you land. least my golden rule. Continue. All right, a little bit long. That's fine. Reverse green, speed breaks up. Reverser's normal. Just the teensiest bit of float. "60 knots. All right, welcome down, chat. Welcome to Tokyo Narita. Oh, so happy to be on the ground. Superb. Let's get this bird cleaned up. All right, and checking taxi. Okay, so literally, I think we're gonna cook it a little bit to the left, and then I think that is taxiway Charlie right over there. Oh, wonderful. Welcome down, everybody. Welcome down indeed. This has been a great experience. Now for some JSDF plane spotting. Let's go. I'm so happy about that. All right. So, elapsed time doesn't say, but basically, I think we were kind of bang on. About 2.5 hours for the flight, plus or minus 30 minutes for miscellaneous and the startup. So we're taxiing over to Terminal 2. It's going to be a little bit of a taxi. We've got like about another 5 or 10 minutes on the ground, which is great because I want to turn on the APU anyway. And nose light on. Actually, taxi light on, that's fine. And I think that's... Which one is it? Which one is it? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Good. Oh yeah, this is it. This can be fun. Charlie is fine. Yeah, so all the other lights are off. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tokyo Narita. The time is now sim o'clock. We have touched down after a nice speedy flight. Told you it wasn't going to take that long to get here. We hope you enjoyed today's flight, and to those of you making any connecting flights, yep, just get those legs ready to run. Otherwise, to those of you that are making this your destination airport, feel free to follow the signs to baggage claim, and we will have you to your gate shortly. Chat, pretty good chance that I'm not going to know which gate is a heavy and which one isn't, so I'm not going to be upset if I hook up to a gate and GSX says, this parking is too small for your aircraft, because I can usually override that, but also at the same time, it's cool. I'm really happy we made it. I'm happy. So I think I could probably turn left here and then start turning into terminal number 2. Número 2. El terminal número 2. We've got some satellite imagery of what this airport probably looks like now, or used to look like. And that's it, man. This is about all she wrote. I want to take a few seconds to say some thank yous. Certainly appreciate Sim Caesar for the raid that we had earlier today. Studio Canuck, appreciate your resub. And to everyone that stopped by or that hung around for the approach and the arrival, thank you. This was actually fun. This was way more fun than I thought it was going to be. It was pretty cool to fly 4X from Vancouver to the Tokyo Narita. This is something that I'd probably do again, even like on a relaxed level. The first time I 4X'd was Heathrow to Toronto earlier this summer for fun, just to like hang out with some friends on chat while I was watching a different stream, which is pretty cool. Now, I'm gonna try this. I'm probably only gonna try this once, just to see if I can actually get this to work. But I do see what looks like a 787 parked over here. It does not look like a 737. It looks like a 78. So I'm going to go ahead and take that as a sign that I can probably park over here easily. And given the size of these gates, I'm probably going to be... Oh, hey, Cruising Air, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. Let's go ahead and taxi on up. Yeah, this definitely does look like a heavy terminal. All right, looks like it went a little bit too far. So let's fix that. All right. All right, chat, and parking brakes are on. Let's see if we can actually get the jetway to connect. I'm not expecting it to go all the way, but if it would, that would be an absolute just cherry on top of this flight. Taxi light off, and let's go ahead and put seatbelt signs to off, and ding the engines. There we go. We're good. Welcome down. Let's request deboarding. Okay, not a problem. We will customize this parking position because this definitely looks large enough to... Hey, what is this, the 80s? All right, so I've applied my changes, which means we should be able to get this thing taken care of. All right. Deboarding. We'll take the ANA handling, and here comes the jetway. Hopefully it connects all the way. We will see. If it doesn't, it is what it is. We will go to standby, and there we go. Did it make it? It got pretty close. I'm happy with that. Okay, we will take external power now, and we will turn the APU off. All right, so fuel pumps can come off, and so can the packs. You don't gotta go home, but you cannot stay on this plane. All right, get on with your bad selves. And let's have a little bit of fun. Let's see them deboard. We don't have an interior. And this is not considered a replacement jetway place. That's interesting. Huh. Pretty close. Pretty close. Listen, I'll take this. After a simulated 10-hour flight, to Narita from Vancouver, I'll take a little bit of memery. Judge away. Okay, let me take my screenshots. Heh, Pixar, it didn't happen, so it did happen. Oh, no worries, Fuzzy Pickles. Welcome aboard, my friend. Happy to have you aboard as a lurker. I told you we had space in business class. Cool. All right, so we are deboarding, and we have officially done the thing. Give or take about 20 some odd minutes for messing around on the ground and getting ourselves taxied out of Vancouver and up in the air. That was realistically about a 9 hour and 55 minute flight from Vancouver to Tokyo. Time for the return leg. No, no, we're not doing that. It would probably be, it'd probably be like about 8 to 8.5 hours. So probably like a little over 2 hours. But I'm not doing that today. At least not today. Um, Schedule for this week. I'm thinking if I do anything, it might either be Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know right now, but I certainly did enjoy doing the thing. Grafton, we probably came in around minus like 200 something, probably like high 190s, but we came in at in my opinion, very nice touchdown. And I think we even like kept the nose up for a little bit and rolled out. We pulled out of the runway right around the point where Charlie began and then did a long taxi to Terminal 2. So I'm happy. I'm very happy. So again, about 9 hours, 55 minutes of actual flight time, and basically just a little under 3 hours total flight time in IRL. If I would do another flight from here, I might fly a ANA or Japan Airlines like 737 to either Haneda or Shizuoka, and then decide to go somewhere else after that. I don't know if I have very good model matching at Narita though. I guess I have to double check my liveries. I thought I was okay, but maybe I'm not. Oh well. All right. So, folks, thanks so much for tuning in today and for being a part of the festivities. I'm going to close some windows down. Don't need all those things except for one or two of these. And what do I want to do at this point? I want to see if I can find someone to send you folks on to, because we have a non-zero number of people here, and it'd be great to get anybody that wants additional flight sim content to the folks that actually have that content. Let's see. Oh, great. Thank you, Grafton. And thank you, Fuzzy Pickles. So stand by. I'm going to go ahead and find somebody to send you all on to, and we're going to figure it out. So, who do we have? Oh, wow. So we do have Ibanez player flying into Las Vegas. My friend is flying into Kuala Lumpur on VATSIM in a DC-6. Jeffrey B. and Flights with Joel is doing, I think, Sunday flights. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Let me check something out real fast. Stand by. Okay. Well, tell you what. I think we're going to go raid our friend Cool Joe 007 and say hello. In the meantime, everybody, thank you so much for being a part of today's stream. Thank you for keeping me company from Vancouver all the way to Tokyo and Narita. You are all amazing. And like I always like to say at the end of every stream, if you want true peace, you really do want the Prince of Peace, and that's Jesus. Folks, have a great night. Enjoy. Stick around for the raid. Let's go say hi to Cool Joe. Until next time, folks, take care.